Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Off the Walls. I am your host, Richard Holdridge. We are live here at El Carrizo Restaurant, and we are excited about Columbus Rapids soccer. We've already had 2 games this season, and it has been a success so far. We've had some news in the National Indoor Soccer League. The new 4th team that's been announced, the 4th franchise, is the Rome Gladiators. They will play all their games on the road this year, and they will open up their new arena in Rome, Georgia for 2023. And so the Columbus Rapids went up to Memphis the day after Christmas. I'm here with Coach Eddie Miranda of the men's team.
Hey, how are you,
Coach
Richard?
Eddie, good to have you on the show.
You too. Thank you.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down those 2 games. You got a doubleheader coming up against the Memphis Americans at the Civic Center. First, I want to talk about that first game. The day after Christmas, you guys went up there that day at the Landers Center and dropped the contest 6-0. But I watched it that first quarter. They picked up those first 2 goals. Tevin West made some good stops. I saw some good defense from Roger Castellano and Stephen McIntosh. And you had some chances. I thought that Braden Wood had a good shot, and I think that Clayton Adams also played very well too. Coach, what's your thoughts on that first game against Memphis?
To be fair, it was it's exactly what we needed. We knew that that's a group of guys who are well coached, well managed, a lot of experience, and we knew it was going to be a tough matchup. So we didn't expect anything less. But we prepared for it. We prepared for the game, and you could tell that as the game progressed, though, the experience that those guys have started to show on their end, and and as the game progressed, you could see that it was starting to get pulled away. So, but overall, though, I'm proud of my guys, for the work rate, for the performance, and I know it can get better. So.
And the Memphis Americans do have a rich tradition and history. They've had indoor soccer in the 1980s.
Right.
And their player coach, who's also the coach of the women's team, Corey Adamson, he's had over 10 years experience in the indoor soccer league. He actually scored a goal in that game. There was a hat trick from Jordy Jordovich, an outstanding player. But really, their goalie, Pietro Silva, was making stops. Your guys had multiple chances in that match, but he was just a wall at goalie. With all the things that you have looked at in the Memphis game, you've watched the replays and the film, what have you taken to move on to the next game against Fayetteville?
Well, going into that, focusing on the Memphis matchup, again, as I mentioned, tons of experience, tons of guys on the team who quite a few guys that have a lot of experience. One of the objectives was to, keep Corey, at bay, and he was able to manage to find one there, in that second half. But fair play to those guys. Like I said, well coached, well managed. It's a good group overall. So. But after that game, of course, we knew that the next task was Fayetteville, and we were thankful that we got that first game, under our belt. We were thankful that we got that second game under our belt too. Didn't go as planned, of course, at home, but we prepared for it. But since we've played both games now the idea is to get right back to it, which we have, and prepare for this weekend.
All right, let's talk about that matchup against Fayetteville. The Fayetteville Fury from Fayetteville, North Carolina. It was the home opener at the Columbus Civic Center.
Right.
The atmosphere was great. I thought it was a success calling the first game. But what is your takeaway from that first home game, and what was the atmosphere like for you?
Oh, incredible. Atmosphere was great, Of course, it hurts that we couldn't, get the result for the fans, because at the end of the day, they're the most important, our supporters. But we know that I know for my guys, I know it was tough in a way to kind of get over that mental hump of, hey, you're playing against your home crowd. So I did tell them that the good thing is that they got their first professional indoor game under their belt, and then they also got their first home game under the belt now. So those jitters, I think, naturally they're always going to be there prior to every game. But the fact that we were able to get both of those games and play both a home fixture and an away fixture, I think mentally now we can start to progress and improve on how we are going to approach these games and not be so concerned about the lights and the, what's going on behind the scenes. So,
next question.
yeah.
One player stood out beyond everybody. Manny Chavez. He made history as he scored the first goal in Rapids men's soccer history, but he also tremendous on defense. He was right there in front of the goalie when the goalie was out of place, and he basically blocked a shot and saved what would have been a goal by Fayetteville. How impressed have you been with Manny Chavez and, of course, getting that first goal?
I mean, great signing, but first and foremost, great person, great kid, completely dedicated to being a better soccer player and giving his all for the team. He's shown nothing but professionalism. I mean, for him to be on the scoreboard for us, again, the ideal scenario, the dream debut at home, so to speak, if I can say, scoring that first goal, getting us started off on the right note. And it couldn't happen to anybody better than Manny. As you saw in the game, his work rate is ridiculous. It's top notch. And I even mentioned something to the rest of the guys afterwards that, that's someone that we should all look up to because of the work rate and the relentlessness that he has and that he shows. So, great addition to the team, and I'm thankful to have him on board.
All right, so this Friday and Saturday, you have a doubleheader coming up against the Memphis Americans. You get to play them 2 more times.
Right.
You've already seen them. What adjustments are you going to make coming up towards this game against the Americans?
I can't give away too much. No, the guys are, these guys are very smart, the guys that I have, they're hungry to get results. Obviously, they're not happy with the last 2 games, our first 2 games. But they're very studious like myself, and we know that, after studying game film and getting back getting back to training, we know that there are certain adjustments that we have to make, and we've analyzed how they play. Surely they've watched us, or they saw our game against Fayetteville, and they're breaking us down from that performance as well. So, just as everybody's watched their performance against the Rome Gladiators. So, really, there's a couple of things that we have to fix there, and we know the task at hand. So they're a good team. We respect them, but we'll be ready come Friday and Saturday. So,
thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.
That's Coach Eddie Miranda of the men's team.
It's a new year, and what better way to stay connected than with Beam Internet? Now that's definitely a resolution worth keeping. Don't spend 2022 waiting for pages and videos to load. Get 250 megabits of internet speed for only $29.95 when you bundle with our Digital Advantage TV. No data caps, all your favorite channels, and no wasting the year away with slow internet. Call us today and start the new year off right with fast, reliable internet with Beam.
Thanks, Dr. J. My back feels so much better. Now tell me where I can go for my headaches.
Really? You don't need to go anywhere else. That's what we do.
Well, what about my shoulder?
That's what we do.
Pinched nerve?
That's what we do.
Well, what about disc problems?
That's what we do.
Sciatica?
With almost 500,000 patient visits over the last 34 years, don't just take my word for it. Ask a friend.
Call Dr. J. Broadwin and Associates today.
Welcome back to Off the Walls. I am your host, Richard Holdridge. My next guest needs no further introduction. Y'all know her as number 7, midfielder for the women's team of the Columbus Rapids, Megan Byers. Megan, good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Megan Byers made history for the Columbus Rapids, scoring the first goal. And I got to tell you, I've been seeing that goal on replay. Top shelf, hit the corner. You practically shot it from midfield. What an incredible goal. What was going through your mind when that goal was going in and tied up the score 1-1 against the Memphis Americans in that first game?
To be honest, it's hard to think back about what was going through my mind. It was one of the few moments in that game where I was pretty clear-headed, just really in the moment. And I think we were all just a little frustrated that we had had a lot of looks on goal. We were out shooting them. We went down by 1 and just wanted an equalizer. And so it was just a really kind of serene moment to have that with the girls on the field and know we were coming back. And we'd had some looks, we'd had opportunity, and to finally get one in felt really good.
Now, did they let you keep the ball?
No, they didn't let me keep the ball, but really it wasn't a thought that crossed my mind.
Okay. I mean, it would be a keepsake, I would think so. But yes, let's talk about that match. Obviously, the first game against Fayetteville, they were relentless. Ashlyn Jones, actually the last game against Fayetteville, you guys lost the contest 5-3. It was very close. A lot of adjustments were made from that Memphis game. And Olivia Jarrell actually scored 2 goals. Right now she has she's the leading goal scorer on the team with 3 goals. Is there like any challenges at practice to try to see who could score as many goals on the team, or are you trying to get a goal so you can like get closer to her lead as a goal scorer?
Not really. I've never been one to get too caught up in stats in that sense. I think especially now that we're in indoor, you see the ball move between players so often, and it's really about combination as a team and kind of getting up and making things happen for each other. And that first goal she scored in the Fayetteville game, it was a combination effort, me, Britt Conway, and Olivia all attacking together. And you've got to move the ball around. You've got to combine with other players to find those opportunities. So I think that we're all happy for each other to get as many goals as we can possibly get. I'm happy if we're getting goals. I don't, whoever scores them, however we get them, I'm happy we're getting them.
Yeah, I've noticed when you guys are down there in the zone, you guys are using the wall a lot. And it seems like the wall is assisting you on those goals. How great is it that you can use the wall in indoor soccer to help you on the rebound to try to get those goals in?
It's one of those things, I think, blessing and a curse in a sense. It's really helpful on offense, and it will really trip you up on defense, I've found. Those times tracking back, you have to remember there's another essentially player there with them that they can bounce the ball off of. But yeah, for sure, on offense, it's added a new element to the game that I think after this long of playing, for something to be fresh and different has been both challenging and really exciting for us. So I'm really looking forward to see how we implement it more and we get into the arena more often and find different combinations.
Right, now you're from Columbus, right? And you played your collegiate soccer at the University of South Carolina in the SEC. Was your games ever televised on the SEC network, like SEC Plus, SEC Alternate?
Yeah, I think I predated a little bit of that. Streaming wasn't as popular, but yeah, we had some televised games. I've been away from it for a little while, so it's been interesting to be back in front of a camera or in front of a crowd. But yeah, we had a great fan experience in South Carolina, and I'm happy to have that here too.
Now, when you first heard that Columbus is getting an indoor soccer team, did it really cross your mind that, I'm going to try out, I'm going to represent my hometown and play professional women's indoor soccer? Was it even a question that you were going to try out and make this team?
I think there was a little bit of question for me, just having been away from being competitive for a good amount of time. There's not a lot of opportunity to remain competitive for women after college. So if you're not kind of going straight into professional soccer, you're, recreational. Here it was really just co-ed. So I would come out and play, as one of the few women on my team, at times the only woman on my team. So we were playing down a player. So I think there was a little question of like, do I still have it? Do I have it in me to train and be a part of this group? But there's no part of me that's been upset that I came out. I'm so happy that I did. I'm happy to be a part of this group, and I'm glad that I still have at least this season in me. So it's been the greatest experience so far.
And so far, you've played 2 contests, 0-2 on the season, but you got a big doubleheader this Friday and Saturday against the Memphis Americans, a team that you've already faced.
Yeah.
Memphis defeated the Rapids 10-2 in that first game. Your goal made it 1-1, but then in the second half, Memphis had some really good players. Ashlyn Jones, she got a hat trick, and they had really just incredible goalkeeping from their goalie. But when you look at, you get to play them 2 more times on Friday and Saturday. What are you trying to do, to try to make sure that you guys, make adjustments and try to make sure that they're coming to the Civic Center. So, and you get to see him 2 more times. So
Yeah.
what's going through your mind, you know, when we got to face this team that we lost to in that first match?
I feel lucky that we have a few days of training with Coach Miguel this week to get ready for it. I think he's got some adjustments for us that I think will really help us out. We've practiced some different patterns moving through the offense. We've recognized some shortcomings that we had on defense. You know, letting in 10 goals is not ever something we want to do again.
Yeah.
But film review, changing some personnel around, changing some of our attack. I think that you'll see you already saw kind of a different team against Fayetteville. There are already changes that were made. We already looked a little bit different. We were pretty dangerous in the attack. We scored more goals in that game. So from last week, the changes that are going to be made this week, I'm looking forward to see how we come out in front of our home team crowd. So I think it'll be good.
Also, Megan, I think that you're going to be a great role model, especially for these young women who want to play soccer. I have 2 daughters that love soccer, and I know that you are going to be a great role model for them. Thank you for being on the show, and hope to see you back on the show again, and we can score some more goals.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. That is Megan Byers, midfielder for the Columbus Rapids women's team, scored the first goal in women's Rapids history, and it's great having her on the show. We wish you the best of luck this season.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
It's a new year, and what better way to stay connected than with Beam Internet? Now that's definitely a resolution worth keeping. Don't spend 2022 waiting for pages and videos to load. Get 250 megabits of internet speed for only $29.95 when you bundle with our Digital Advantage TV. No data caps, all your favorite channels, and no wasting the year away with slow internet. Call us today and start the new year off right with fast, reliable internet with Beam.
Welcome back to Off the Walls. I am your host, Richard Holdridge, the play-by-play announcer for the Columbus Rapids. I'm here with the women's team head coach Miguel Galindo. Coach, good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
As 2 games have been entered into the books, as we have already played the Memphis Americans and the Fayetteville Fury, let's talk about that first game against Memphis. It was very tight in that first quarter. You even outshot the Memphis Americans 7-3. And Megan Byers scores it, ties it up 1-1. It was a very tight game. Coach, what was going through your mind when you were playing Memphis tight in that first half? And I know that they did score 3 more goals, and at halftime it was 4-1. But what impressed you the most about that first half?
So we knew going in that we had to take advantage of our moments. That's why we started out with a little higher tempo. Having 10 players and you're traveling that far, I knew that by the 3rd and 4th quarter, it was going to be tough for us. So, you know, that hurt a bit. We knew that going in, so we just had to prepare the best way we could and try to get after it from the very beginning. So I was proud of holding them off for that long. I was very proud of the way that we responded right away with Megan's goal. I give her a little hard time because as soon as she scored, it was like there was emotion, but there wasn't no emotion. She was like super serious. She was ready to get after it. Okay, we scored. Let's get back into the game. So I like that mentality. It's, you know, we score, but the job isn't done. So let's keep it going.
Now, unfortunately, Memphis defeated your team 10-2, and they had just a superstar player. Ashlyn Jones had a hat trick, and it just at the second half, they had fresh legs. They didn't have to travel. But what I'm impressed about is going into that Fayetteville game at the Columbus Civic Center, the home opener, I could see a difference in the team. That game was close, even took the lead, but how impressed were you about the adjustments that you made from the Memphis game to the Fayetteville game?
Well, I think one of the key things was for that game is we had certain personnel with us that we didn't have when we played Memphis. So super excited to add Casey Hall into the mix. To me, a true legend in the collegiate game when it comes to the Peach Belt Conference. I mean, I'm at CSU and she played for North Georgia. So we had some laughs of different moments, but not to stray away from your question, but we had worked on certain rotations. We had worked on, woman up, woman down lineup, and to give you a little bit more in depth, when we received the blue card, there's certain players that I wanted out there, and we, try to manage that. But I mean, in this game, when you get a blue card, it messes up your entire rotation, and it took us a little while back to get back into a rhythm. But no, I mean, overall, I was happy the way we responded.
All right, let's talk about your goalie. Bria Riancho was in at goalie in that second game, made some incredible stops, kept your team in that game. Like I said, the Rapids took a 3-2 lead. It was close. Fayetteville had a 4-3 lead going towards the end of the game. Columbus had a chance to at least tie it to get a point. But how impressed were you with the goalkeeping ability from Bria?
Well, obviously I knew that this game was something that she would be able to master because having worked with her at Columbus State, and like I keep praising Coach Jay, but the way he has his players, his keepers to be technical, not only just shot stoppers, I know that she's a great addition to the game. We played with 6 on the turf instead of 5 because we can rely on her footwork. But no, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy for her. I'm happy that she's on the team, and she's going to play a big role this season.
And the one difference in this game is that you did have some goal scoring, especially from your leading goal scorer, Olivia Jarrell. She has 3 goals on the year. She had 2 in that game. She almost was getting ready for a hat trick, but if you look at what she has done and the experience she has from Columbus State being the Peach Belt Conference Player of the Year and with 61 goals in her collegiate career, how important is it to have her on the team scoring the goals and really keeping you on the offensive side of the field, because there was a lot of breakaways. She had multiple opportunities to get some shots on goal, and she went through. She came through with 2 goals, and right now she has 3 on the season. So how impressed are you with her performance?
I mean, I'm super excited. It was one of the reasons why I wanted her to be, one of the top signings, the first signing for Columbus Rapids, because not only having that knack to score, but that energy that feeds off on the rest of the team, like that just raises the level, and it raises the expectation. Hey, I'm going to put these away, so we all have to perform as a team. And like I said, the whole energy part. When this team gets to clicking and all our tactics are put in place, I think it'll be a hard duo, whoever she's paired up with, to stop.
And there are 3 players that I can think of that really help you out on defense. One, Aaron Brady, Brittany Conway, the captain, and then you also have Sydney Vadney. Throughout the game, I noticed they were cleaning up messes down there. They were trying to give your goalie a breather, but they were kicking a lot of the balls out of the zone and getting ready for Columbus to do a counterattack, which is very important. You want to go in the counterattack because you get more scoring opportunities. But how impressed were you with the defensive play from all those players on the defensive side?
I mean, having seen them at tryouts and then knowing where to plug them in on the field. I mean, Sydney's, strictly a defender, but I'm trying to get her to be more well-rounded to go forward. And then Aaron Brady, I mean, heck, I can think of 3 different moments where our keepers have gotten beat and she just is right behind to save us. And, it's great to see. The fans love it. I know it fires her up and just gets her going, and it fires the team up to, hey, we just got saved. Now let's go to goal.
Right, so you have a doubleheader coming up at the Civic Center Friday and Saturday against the Memphis Americans. So you're looking at this team that you've already played. You know what their strengths are. I can't necessarily say what adjustments you're going to make, but when you look at this game, what is catching your eye on film? about this team? Like, what's the scouting report you're looking at to prepare your team for the Memphis Americans for next two games?
So right now it's not only reviewing our game that we played against them, but the Rome game, and look at their habits. What's constant a habit of theirs? Where are some of the things that they've tried that don't work out? And then from there, come up with a game plan, a lineup, a rotating lineup to counter that. And we're not done signing players, and the players know that you're always competing at training. Because I do want to continue to build this team. It is strong, but I know that it can be stronger.
Thanks, Coach. That was head coach Miguel Galindo of the women's team for the Columbus Rapids. The next game will be this Friday night at the Civic Center against the Memphis Americans, followed by another game Saturday night at the Civic Center. And don't forget, the next episode of Off the Walls will air next Monday night here at El Carrizo Restaurant. Thank you for watching Off the Walls. I am Richard Holdridge. Have a good night, everybody.